So every night before I go to sleep, and this is the quilt, by the way. This is the real keeping quilt. It's not in terribly good shape. It has been around, probably the oldest pieces on here, about 150 years. The original babushka that was around the edge of this is gone. It literally disintegrated off. What you see here now is an American gingham. But if you look at this edge, it's literally disappearing. It's tearing and shredding, especially this edge. But when I was little, this quilt was on my bed. I always slept with the yellow horse here by my face. And every night before I go to sleep, I'd run my fingers around the edge of this horse. Do you know, touching this horse now, I know we're making a film, but I can hear my grandmother's voice as if she's in this room every time I touch this. I haven't heard her voice for over 62 years. But she'd sit on the edge of the bed and pull these up in front of my face and say, "Tricia, whose dress made these?" I'd say, "Well, that's Aunt Havela's apron." "Yes." "Whose shirt is this?" "That's Uncle Vladimir's shirt." I mean, she had me name all of these people, and I can name them to this day. I see them through her heart, and I never knew them. She would always end, though, "Tricia, whose dress is the blue?" That's when I'd say, "Well, that's Anna. That's my great-grandma. That was her dress when she came all the way from Russia. That's the dress she was wearing." "Yes," my grandmother would say. Of course, what I'm going to tell you next scandalized my mother, and probably going to scandalize some of the parents that are listening to this. My grandmother used to let me take this outdoors and play with it. I used to throw this thing up on my back, put a great big safety pin right here. I'd get my rotten red-headed older brother's socks, wad them up, stick them in my sweatshirt, so I had huge bulging muscles. Then I'd fly around the yard pretending this was my cape and that I was Superman. My grandpa took my brother and I to a movie, and in that movie we saw a bullfight from Mexico. I knew exactly what I was going to do with my life then. My grandpa kept a goat tied in the front yard. I went to my grandfather and said, "Grandpa, I'm going to become a bullfighter." So I went and got the quilt. Took one of my brother's shoes and put it on my head because I thought that made me look like a bullfighter. Went out in the front yard, walked up to that poor little goat and waved it around in front of his poor little face till my rotten red-headed older brother let our bull out of the pen for real. And that thing chased me all over the yard. Finally chased me up a peach tree, kept me up there for almost 5 hours. And you know how you see them in cartoons? Maybe you don't know this. That's how they really act. They stand there and paw the ground and kick the dirt up, and smoke comes out of their nose. I've never been so scared. And I looked over on the fence to see where my brother was, and there he was sitting, and he was so happy to see me in such distress. And I said, "Richie, go get Grandma. Have her come get this thing before it figures out how to climb up here and kill me." I don't think I've ever seen him walk that slowly for the house in my life. He got her, or I wouldn't be here to tell the story.